All right, here we go with our very first topic of the day, and it is none other than the George Lucas rumor that he could be taking back creative control of Star Wars. And we know that this rumor came out several days ago with Overlord DVD Doomcock, and now you've got your news media outlets, you've got your tertiary media outlets, you've got your editorials that are coming out on all of this stuff, and we are going to be looking at all of this today. So, guys, we don't typically cover rumors from We've Got This Covered, but they are actually talking about what Doomcock released in the video. So they're not going with anything that we're not all already talking about already. So now Nick and I are going to cover it ourselves. So the article starts here. The fact of the matter is that if George Lucas wanted to remain in control of Star Wars and keep churning out sequels of his own, then he would never have sold his company to Disney for over $4 billion close to a decade ago. However, the decidedly polarizing reactions to the Mouse House's time at the helm of the franchise has led to a slew of speculation that the bearded plaid enthusiast, George Lucas, is poised to ride to the rescue of a galaxy far, far away and wrestle back control from the Palpatine-like figure that is Kathleen Kennedy. That's pretty much exactly what the latest rumor is claiming, with a couple of outlets reporting that Lucas is determined to bankroll the third trilogy he envisioned in his mind before selling Lucasfilm to the Mouse House, of which many plot the character details have been revealed in the years since. Of course, we should point out that the main source of this intel is the often unreliable Doomcock, the article says, who very evidently harbors an intensely personal grudge against Kennedy's handling of Star Wars and the sequel trilogy in general. Looking at the cold hard truth, it would also be very difficult, if not outright impossible, for Lucas to regain creative control over the property. For one thing, he doesn't own it, and he's not technically under contract with either the studio or production company, although he does drop by the various sets from time to time to check in, often offer sagely advice, and occasionally give Dave Filoni a hard time. He could always try and buy Star Wars back, but you can guarantee that Disney would never sell, and newly installed CEO Bob Chapek also made it perfectly clear that Kennedy will be steering the Lucasfilm ship for the foreseeable future. So that is the rumor right there, that George Lucas is going to be taking creative control back of Lucasfilm. So let's start right here, Nick. Let's the conversation begin here. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, that this was legit. Is George Lucas taking over Star Wars as creative director? Would that be something that would be good for Star Wars?
That's debatable. Only because we don't really know what he's going to do. I mean, he could do something and it could be complete crap. And then we would be like, in hindsight, would be like, yeah, that was terrible for Star Wars. So it just depends on what he does and how well received it is on whether or not it would be good for Star Wars or not.
Can I jump in and ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you, even if what he did was complete crap, wouldn't you still think his complete crap would be better than what we've gotten?
That's what I was just getting ready to say. Is he can't make it any worse.
Yeah,
he can't make it any worse than what the sequel trilogy was, or what Solo was. Which I know a lot of people out there actually liked Solo, and that's fine. I was not a fan of it at all. I fell asleep 3 separate times trying to watch that movie. And it's the only Star Wars movie I did not go see in the theaters. But yeah, it would, like I said, it would all determine, or it would all be dependent on whether or not what he did was good or not. In the end. But regardless of that, I will say that I think he should get the trilogy that in the story that he wanted to tell, whether it's good or not. He's the creator of Star Wars. He should get that opportunity. And I also heard, and this wasn't in that article, but I've heard another rumor that he might be taking the money in the stock and everything that he got for the sale of Lucasfilm and actually directly funding the project, so Disney's not out any money. He would actually pay to have his story be told. So it really wouldn't be, from a financial standpoint, any risk on Disney or Lucasfilm's part, because they wouldn't really have, they would have very little money invested in the project, and they would actually probably get, you know, a percentage of the return, obviously, because they own the property. And that, I could see that being a possibility. But the other thing is, at George's age, I just I have a hard time believing that that he would do any of that, or that he would even want to do any of that.
Yeah.
Or be involved in any way, shape, or form. I don't think he's happy with what Disney's done, but you know, I just don't see him, you know, doing a whole lot at his age. You know, 20 years ago, yeah, maybe.
I agree with that, with his age. So I would have to, my take on it would be this, Nick. Here's what I would like to see. Obviously, I would like to see George Lucas involved in Star Wars any way he wants to be. And I would hope that Disney would honor that. What I would actually like to see is for Lucas to show up and be a co-creative director. Not to lead the charge and be the man and make all the day-to-day decisions and all that kind of stuff. He doesn't need to do that. He needs to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, offering wisdom and guidance to someone who will actually listen. And if that were to be Filoni or whomever, we do know that Lucas and Filoni have a great relationship and work well together. And if Dave Filoni is going to take over as creative director, which he obviously has that role right now, along with some other people, if he's going to be the man over Star Wars one day, completely, then maybe he needs to continue to learn from Lucas and get this thing righted. One thing is for sure, Disney has to know where they have failed, and they also have to know what the fans are wanting. And if they don't want to lose Star Wars forever, the fan base forever, and I'm talking about the fans, I'm talking about us, I'm talking about the 157 of us that are in this chat right now, here to talk Star Wars. You know, I'm not talking about the casual people. I'm talking about the people who think about Star Wars every day. That's us. That's all of us. You know, how many days of the year does Star Wars cross your mind? Every day. You know what I mean? Don't you think about it at least one time a day, every day, Nick?
Well, since we have a Star Wars-based channel, yeah, pretty much.
yeah, it's kind of our job at this point.
Yeah.
So I would hope that Lucas would be involved, that they would allow him to be involved. And, you know, another thing about the money thing, Nick, you know, George Lucas has gone on record and said he is not leaving his kids any money.
Yeah, yeah.
None.
Yeah.
They already have, I'm not talking about the little guys, but his grown children that are biologically his, not getting into that whole thing, but he's not leaving them anything. He's going to make them make it on their own, you know, and they are successful people already. So he's not leaving them any of his billions of dollars. And, you know, it wouldn't shock me at all for George Lucas to dump some of his money and invest in what he created, to have it so he feels better about it as he is in the twilight of his life.
So he can kind of complete his vision of what he wanted.
So one thing I'll say, Nick, is this. I want to get your take on this. Hot take from Coach. Okay, here it goes. George Lucas, if he comes back to Star Wars, does not need to do a trilogy, does not need to go back. Star Wars' future lies in streaming shows, the streaming platform. So carry your vision out there, George. Give us your vision there. Give us a Luke Skywalker show. Go. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, and we've talked about this in the past. If he does another theatrical trilogy, you're looking at 4.5 hours, to try to tie his entire story together. If they did it in a 8 episode, hour long each episode TV series or mini series on Disney Plus, he would be able to flesh out his story a whole lot more. He would be able to get way more into character development and that sort of thing. So I honestly would almost prefer to see a series more than a trilogy, but still have the opening, Star Wars title with the crawl at the beginning, all that. That's one thing that really pissed me off about Disney doing the side movies is they got rid of that. Like I think that should be in every Star Wars movie. That's just my opinion. But I would definitely like to see that again, and definitely like to see his vision come to life. And I think he would be able to do that a lot better in a series format more than maybe a trilogy.
I agree. And, so I'm really torn with that statement, though, because Star Wars does belong in a movie theater, without question.
Yeah.
But when you get to the streaming platform, we get more Star Wars in one season of Mandalorian than we do with an entire trilogy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's more Star Wars to be seen. There's more Star Wars to be discussed. And I'm going to be honest, man. I'm not very confident in movie makers today. I'm not.
No.
I'm just not. My confidence with movie makers is very low, but I'm feeling pretty good about streaming service people, especially people like Jon Favreau, the creators of Cobra Kai. We got some really good streaming shows.
Yeah.
And that's the wave of the future.
I really wish season 4 of Cobra Kai would really do the 1 episode a week thing. I mean, I hate waiting to the next week and being like, oh man, I want to see that next episode now, But the thing is, as a content creator, it takes away the ability to be able to kind of discuss and speculate for what's coming, what's happening on the next episode, that sort of thing. So, I love Cobra Kai. But I agree with you. And Tim Rose actually made a good point about that, about his frustration with the way movie making's been, where it's now being done by like accountants and paper pushers and
they don't know what they're doing.
Harvard grads, that are looking at things on paper. It's not. And Robert Meyer Burnett's talked about this too. It's not being done by creatives. It's being done by pencil pushers. Way more nowadays.
Well, guys, let us know what you think about the George Lucas returning to Star Wars rumor. I do think it's definitely something, if it were possible, to get excited about. I will say that. It definitely won't be worse than what we've already gotten. I would like to see the original creator of Star Wars to be honored and to be recognized and to be appreciated, especially right now while we still have him. So that is just my take. Thank you guys for watching, and let us know in the comments what you think. Now, to our live audience,